And welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and in today's tutorial we are going to work on this beautiful poinsettia throw together. Let me tell you a little bit more about this in just a moment. To start off with, I think this is one of these Afghans where if you were to enter into a county fair, you would definitely probably, I don't want to guarantee it, but you'd probably get a blue ribbon for something like this. This has the mixture of really being incredible for decor, but also having some intricate work that would boost it from just being a regular Afghan into something totally extraordinary. I would also describe this Afghan as that if you like somebody and you were just making them a crochet Afghan, you wouldn't probably do it for them, but if you love somebody or really wanted to give something special, this would be an Afghan that you would consider. So let me go and run you through some of the little tips that I found when working on doing my sample. So to go through some of the pattern tips that I have for you today is that I found the squares relatively easy, but I want to take you through the square step by step because there's something missing in the instructions that I found really helpful, and I really had to look at the sample here. So I have taken extra photography in order to really show you, because there's one element where you have to slip stitch, but where exactly do you slip stitch? It says it here, but I think you need to physically see it or mentally see it, or just see it in order to make it work for you. The squares are relatively easy. Once you have 12 of them, you just put them together. And then what you have to do is that I looked at this thing, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm just gonna start my body of work. That's not how this one works. This one here, you have to prepare the square. So once you get them all whip stitched together, so you have 12 in a row, you have to prepare the side. Do you see how there's a blue line here? That's part of the preparation of it. And then you see that there's white. Well, there's an extra layer of white around it before doing the body of the work. Also, I then did the sample of doing the body itself, and then I tried doing the cross stitching. I've never done cross stitching before in crochet. You know what, I have to say it was a lot easier than I expected. Now, because this one here is a dark green and the white really bounces off it really beautifully, I didn't have the same luck with this. I wanted to really have kind of a snowflake kind of idea. I found the white was kind of buried in. So even though I followed the pattern, I just didn't feel it was bold enough. So what I did is I quadrupled my yarn. So I actually doubled up on my yarn, went through the pattern, and then went through it again to create a really bold look. You should be aware though, when I did this, it causes the stitches to stretch out a bit. And even though this Afghan, even with the regular, you're going to have a hot mess on the back of it, you're still going to have a hot mess. But this is one of those Afghans where you don't want to turn over because the whole amazing side of it is in the front side. It's not unusual for Afghans. There's always a good and bad side. But this one here is one that you really don't want to turn over because it's not as effective on the back. So let's just go through a little bit more before I take you down to the studio and show you a little bit more on how to work this. Now the final tip before I take you down to the studio is that we're going to do 3 strips. And you can see 1, 2, and 3, and it's just the granny squares. Now, one strip is going to have the body of work on one side and the other. That's the middle strip. So once we get this middle one done and we're prepared to do it, we're going to start and just single crochet back and forth on one side. Then, once you get your number of rows completed, you come and you start on this side. So in actual fact, there's going to be 3 panels by the time you're done. So this and this will be one, and then the next strip will then have its outside, and the next strip will have its outside. Those are your 3 panels, and all you're just going to do is right here, is that you're going to sew them all together to make one solid Afghan. What I would also recommend too, before you sew everything together, I would recommend that you do your cross stitching before that. But wait, you want to make sure that you're going in the same direction. You want to make sure, if you really notice it, all these arrows that you can see, boop, 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 are all going in the same direction. So when you're really thinking about doing the cross stitch of this, and you're doing it without the Afghan being all together, it's just got to make sure that when it does come together, you don't end up with an odd one out that is going in the wrong direction, or you can be frogging the whole thing. So it's just a great little tip for you to do. I would cross stitch before sewing because it's just easier to get underneath when you really think about it. If I have to get here and I've crossed it and I've all of it's attached. Just getting under to that spot to work on it is going to be a lot more inconvenient, so I would cross stitch before sewing everything. Once you have everything sewed, you just basically do a border, and the border is actually just 2 rounds, and it is unbelievably amazing. And this is an Afghan that you'll probably treasure for a lifetime and only give it to special people in your lives. So today's tutorial is going to be slightly different than what you're used to. I'm going to take you through the square, and then I'm going to take you through the visuals on what you need to look for. This pattern is classified as easy, and I'm just going to walk you through visually showing you what you need to do for certain elements to it. This is actually one of those projects that is really easy. If you've never cross-stitched before, this may be a first opportunity for you. And you know, just because there's a design here doesn't mean you have to use it. You can also just look at the diagram that's available in the pattern, and maybe you want to come up with some other unique stuff. I really was thinking about cross-stitching even a border around this. This is supposed to be a flower, but I was thinking to myself, I could have actually turned it into a snowflake by just chasing the outside with the darker blue. You know, creativity is really subjective. So without further ado, let's take you down to the studio and let's get you started on working on this together. So let's start off with our square first. It's a relatively easy pattern. It's just a matter of knowing where to slip stitch when we're getting to a certain round. This is what they look like here, and you will notice that there is a white border that you see here. But there's actually 2 lines here. There's actually the border for this square here, and then this is another piece on the outside, which I'll explain later, and also the same on the other side. So you have the border of the square plus the crochet along the top piece. So let's get started today. You need 3 different colors. You'll need a middle color. If you don't want to use 3 colors, it will change the effect of it, but that's up to you. But you'll need a middle color, and then an exterior behind, and then whatever popping out color this is here. Then that's what you need to start with. So let's get started now. To get started, you'll need to create a slip knot. And remember that it never ever counts as 1. So you just have to chain 3 and go 1, 2, and 3. And we want to form a ring with this little 3. So to form a ring, we come into the very beginning, chain, and then pull the yarn through to create this really tight little ring. And this straggler you want to keep on the outside of it so that you can trap it into place in the next part. Next, you'll want to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and you want to double crochet 11 times around the center of this ring. So just wrap going into the center of the ring, pull through 2 and 2 for a double crochet, and you want to do that with a total 11 times. Now in the rules of crochet, that chaining of 3 that we started off with is actually in fact a double crochet. So when you're keeping counts, you'll end up with 12 posts going all the way around the center of the circle. So this is only this color is only for this particular revolution, and once we get to the end we're going to be fastening off and weaving in our edges in order to make it work. So let's just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, and 12. And what I want to do then is just slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 that we started off with to finalize that. So let's create the cut for this. We want to just trim, and I want to weave in my edges. So I'm just going to grab the yarn and then pull through like this, and then I just want to weave them in and out of this section just for about 4 stitches. You can go a little bit more if you want to, if you feel that you have to. And in the next revolution we're going to be trapping that further into position. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to trim off these ends now, and so I'm ready for the next piece of the puzzle. The next piece of our puzzle is actually this white line that you see, and we're just going to be playing in this blue circle here and putting these, but do you notice I can put my hook right behind it? It's just sitting on top. So the next part of this we're going to be creating all these loops, and we're going to be dealing with that afterward. Okay, so let's create our slip knot with our next color. In this case it will be white, and this is what I recommend. So let's just put it onto the hook. We just have to go into any one of the outside stitches. It doesn't matter which one. We're just going to go in and we're going to fasten on this yarn. So just pull the yarn through and through. Now grab this straggler and just pull it through. So what I want to do is just, I want to chain 5, but I'm gonna pull that straggler through the first 2. And then I can safely trim that white afterward. So that was 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what I want to do is this, I want to come into the very next stitch that's available, and I want to slip stitch. So just come through and through. So here is the next section. So I want to begin to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 8, 8, 9, and 10. And what I want to do then is come and I want to skip the next one and go to the second one over. See how I'm just pushing my finger down here? It just stabilizes the chain, and I want to pull through and through as a slip stitch. Okay, so there's what you have so far. So now I'm going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to come right down to the next one available, and I'm going to slip stitch. So when you're chaining the 5, the next one is always right beside it. When you're chaining of the 10, you have to skip one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We want to skip one and then go down to the next one, and we want to slip stitch. So we're not single crocheting, just slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come to the next one for a slip stitch. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, skip one, go to the second one over. See how I went into the gap there? I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I get right into a stitch. So try again. So it's a good little error of mine, just to be able to prove to you that what you don't need to do. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come to the next, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and go to the very last one. Go to where you started, just like this. Okay, so that will conclude your whole round as you're going. So you're going to have large loops, large, small, and all the way around. So let's begin our next revolution. Okay, now that you have your white in here, we cannot actually start our next revolution until we fasten off. So we're going to fasten off this one nicely. You will probably need a darning needle, so we're just going to pull through and through. And what I would strongly recommend is that this is one area you will want to do a darning needle with. You know, this whole project is about cross stitching anyway, so this is something you should become comfortable with. And just put a darning needle and just slip it through some of the white section and go back and forth 3 times. And what this will do is it'll trap this white into position permanently so that you won't see any loose edges. You can try to weave it, but I can guarantee if you just try to weave normally, it will fall out eventually, and you'll have like tails coming out, and eventually your work may fall apart as well. So you want to really kind of take your time. If you're going to do this kind of afghan, you're going to want to spend the time and just go back and forth 3 times, and this is the 3rd. So it's impossible for it to fall out once it's in 3 times, because the afghan or project cannot move in 3 different directions at one time. And I can safely cut that first one, and so basically I end up with the nice area just like so. So it looks a lot more professional. So let's begin the next section. To begin the next section, I want you to create a slip knot, and we are going to go. And so in the instructions it says to fold down or bring in front the large loop. So just bring any one of them forward, just as long as it's only one, and go directly in the middle. There will only be 1 stitch in the middle anyway. So go directly in the middle, and that's where we're going to attach this. So attach just like so, and I would recommend this loose string here, just wrap it and bring it around a couple times. So we're gonna have to chain 3 anyway, so 1 and then wrap both, and 2 and then let that extra one go, and 3. So it says to slip stitch in the same stitch of these here. You can, when it says to do that, you have to be on the inside of this loop. So when you go to slip stitch, you don't want to be on the exterior of coming here. You want to make sure you're staying on the interior. So we're going to double crochet on the interior, okay, with where it's slip stitched, just like that. See, so now you can see that it's looking like it's in between this loop, and that's what we're looking for. What we need to do now is that we need to work with this smaller loop. So in order to get there, we have to chain 2 first, so 1 and 2, and we're just going to single crochet ourselves around this loop. So just go right in between and single crochet. So now we have to earn ourselves back to the center of the next one, so we have to chain 2 first, 1 and 2, and we come and we need to work in the slip stitches here plus the one in the center. So when you go to the same stitch, it has to be on the interior. So just fold it down in front like this and double crochet the first one in the same spot that you did the slip stitch, but it is on the inside of the loop area, and then double crochet the next and double crochet the next again on, so it's on the inside. Okay, this was the slip stitch, and then we can chain 2, 1 and 2. You can fold that back up if you wish, and then just single crochet this loop, chain 2, take this next big loop, fold it down. We want to single crochet in the first spot where the white is also single or slip stitched in. So you want to double crochet in the same stitch that the first one is in, and double crochet the next, and double crochet the next, which is where the last slip stitch is. And now we want to earn our way to here, so we chain 2, single crochet around that loop, okay, and 1 and 2, fold down the next section. The first one is a double crochet where it's slip stitched, okay, and double crochet in the middle, and double crochet on the other slip stitch, and 1 and 2. Okay, we want to go around this loop, so single crochet and then chain 2, okay, and fold this down. So this is where we started, so you only have 1 stitch left, so we're just gonna fold it down, and that's right where you did the slip stitch, and we want to join it at this point with the top of the chain 3. So this is what it will look like at this point. So you have these exposed loops that are not yet ready to be buried into the project at this time. So let's begin the next row. Let's begin our next round. So we're simply just going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we want to double crochet into the next one available. So that's pretty easy. And now this is the chain 2 space right here, the first one, and we're going to put 2 double crochet in there. And then we're going to chain 3 as we're going to turn the corner. So 1, 2 and 3. Come on the other side of this single crochet, and you're going to put 2 double crochets in that side. So that gapping space is your turning space. So let's just fold this piece right here, just bring it in the front, and double crochet into the 3 double crochets that are there. So just 1 each. And then your next space that's going to be available to you. Okay, there's going to be you're going to put 2 double crochets there, and you need to turn a corner again. So to turn the corner, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Come on the other side of this single crochet over here. You're going to have 2, and now we're going to fill in these double crochets, 1 each. It's really important that you keep your counts on these. The exterior, I actually made a mistake on one of the squares that I miscounted, and it does make a difference. So you want to make sure you're keeping count. So you're gonna have 3 in the center and 2 on both sides of the spaces. So we're gonna have 2 in this one, and then chain 3. That's right. Okay, come on the other side of this over here, chaining of 2. Like so, and then 1 double crochet into each of the double crochets that you see. Okay, and then 2 double crochet into this gapping space. We're coming around nearly to the beginning again, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3 as we turn the corner. Again, 2 double crochets into this next space. Now this is the side that we started on, so you started off in the middle. You can see how you're matching, so you only have one double crochet left. And what you need to do at this point is that you need to join it to the top of the chain 3, and you need to fasten off at this time. So you can actually, this particular round, you can just do fastening off as normal. You don't need to put a darning needle if you don't want to, and just pull it through. And what you want to do is then just weave it in and out of these stitches, and I would go all the way back to your corner, because the next revolution every stitch is going to get something, so you can safely trap all of that into position as you go all the way around in your next revolution. And the next revolution is the completion of this square. That's how fast one of these will go. So you can still see at this point that these things are still sitting out just like this. The next revolution is where we're gonna put those down, and those will be permanently into position. So what I want to bring your attention to is that this here is going to be fastened up into the next section. So what you have here is that you have 3 and 3 with 1 in the middle. That 1 in the middle is where this is going to be fastened up when it comes up. So no matter what side that you're looking on, you have a total of 7. So just look at it in groups of 3. So 3, 3, and there's your 1 in the middle. So it's going to be becoming very obvious anyway, but I really want to show you that. So I'm going to create a slip knot to start off with the border. And we're just going to start off in any corner. It doesn't matter which corner that you start off with. So just go in to a corner space, grab the yarn, pull through, chain 1, and put this straggler down on top of the line and trap that in position. So you're going to single crochet 5 times. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So there is your corner, and so you're going to single crochet in the first 3. Now the first 3 here, you got to make sure you get that first one right, and it's just 1, and then the next one for 2, and the next one for 3. So you could either count that out or just look, because now the 4th one is your next one. And so now what you're going to do is that you're going to slip your hook. When you come around, you're going to slip it behind, through here, and through to the next stitch, and you're going to single crochet that permanently into position, which is going to hold it in the upright position. Now you're going to single crochet the remainder 3 before turning the corner. So now you're on the corner, so it's 5. So 1, that was 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, so again you can just look at it. So the first 3 are by themselves, so single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. So this is your 4th, or you could just visually look at it. So come around the loop and into the 4th one and single crochet that into position. So you can start seeing it's really coming out, and then just continue to single crochet the remainder. And there will be 3 left before coming to your next corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then coming into the next one, so you got 3 in a row. So 1, 2, and 3. So the 4th is your middle one. So scoop around, get that chain, go into your next one, and then single crochet the remainder of the 3. Okay, here's your next corner. So there's going to be 5. See how I wove in there? That's being trapped into position. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's grab our first 3. So 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, let's scoop it behind, get that, and go into the 4th. Got it. And then there should be 3 left, which there is. So that will conclude off this square, and what you're going to want to do is just weave in your ends nicely. So you got your 3 in here, just join with the top of the beginning of the first single crochet, and voila, you have everything done. Everything just needs to be stretched out. You can actually be a little bit lazy with your yarn here. This has to be single crocheted across the top anyway, so you can either fasten it in professionally, or you can just weave it in, and you know that when you come across the top you're going to trap this more into position anyway. So it's really kind of up to you on what you feel more comfortable with. And of course, if you do want the quality you will want to fasten this off professionally as well, especially if you're doing a show. And this is what everything looks like at this point. So it will stretch out and everything will be beautiful. So let's move on to your next part of this tutorial. So now that we have our square done, it's now up to us to make 36 of these. 12 of these are going to go in a row to go all the way down, and once you have your 12, you're going to want to whip stitch them together on one side only. And when you whip stitch, what you really want to pay attention to is the outside border. Just go in the outside loop only, so don't go into both stitches, just go into the outside. And when you start your whip stitching, you know how there's 5 in the corner here. Make sure you go into the one directly in the middle, which is number 3, and whip stitch both of them all the way across. The stitches will match each other, and finish off in the third one, which is the middle of the next square. And you're going to want to do that for all 12, and you'll end up with a strip that looks very similar to this. So what's going to happen at this point is that once you have your strip together, is that you need to really pay attention that we are going to be making this into like a big solid block. So once you have your 12 done, on the ends only, you are going to put in the same color. So you're just going to start off, don't go across first, go do the small edge first, and right on the very corner you're going to put the same color that exists in the main color of your afghan. You will notice on the outside portion of this afghan, I'll put a photo up right now, you'll notice that there's a green strip, and this is just going to help you separate the border. It's just a better look overall, but this white section will take you right to the border. So you're going to put this in first, and you're going to come to the other side and do the other side before continuing. Then what you're going to do is that you're going to single crochet using the smaller hook. So we've been using a 5.5 or size I. We're going to move down lower to a 5 or a size H, and it's going to make it even more smaller, and it's just going to be a nice tight finish. And you are going to start off on the side of this blue section here and single crochet. So you're going to get that one there, you're going to go into your corner, and you're going to grab them all the way across. Now what I did here, see where they're joining? You're going to grab them in the middle here, or where they're joining here. When you go in, it just makes a nicer fit, and essentially you're just going to do this white line, which is the matching of the exterior of this granny square all the way across. You're going to fasten off and weave in your ends. You're then going to do the same for the other side. You're going to turn it over and start again on the end and work your way all the way across. So once you have this look all the way on your 12, so you're going to have a solid line here, solid, you have your ends, you're then ready for the body part of your particular afghan. You will have a total of 3 strips. Now 2 of the strips are going to be looking like this. So you'll have a strip and then your body of work, and then a strip and body of work on the other one. Only one strip, which is your center strip, will have a strip, and then the body work will be here and here. So when you go to start making these, what's going to happen is that you're going to take up the side, and you're just immediately going to join in, and you're just going to single crochet yourself back and forth for 41 rows. And it doesn't matter which strip you're working on, it's always 41. And then what you're going to do then is then start the embroidery. So essentially on the left side or the right side, you are going to have your strip with the body work on one side, and then the middle one will have the strip plus the body work on one side, plus you're just going to pick up the other side and do this side as well. And where you're going to be joining it then would be the next strip right here going into place. So let's cover some of the cross stitching right now. Pattern. In the pattern is the diagram, and basically you have to act like these single crochets are a graph, which because they are single crochet, they're pretty much square, so they are like a graph. And so you essentially have to start on the bottom, and you can follow the graph and just count over and up to start. And what you want to do is, this is your starting point, and then you can start following the squares that are available. Now what I thought to myself is that even though this would have looked a lot better if I would have had a darker background, I felt it was lost within this thing here. So what I decided to do is that I doubled up on my yarn, so I had 2 strands of yarn coming through my darning needle at one time, and I went over the pattern, and then I went through the pattern again to really doubling it up. So what does it look like on the back? Well, even if you're doing the single strand, it's not going to be very pretty, so it's not an afghan you're going to want to turn over. But look at this mess over here. So in order to get it to look really fabulous here is that you can really play around with the different ideas of cross stitching. It has a very different look, so you're thinking to yourself, well, you could have applied a motif and etc. It's not the same. So let's cover on how to do some cross stitching at this time. So what I do is that I don't have a lot of yarn, but I have enough that I would be able to complete once you start, you'll realize how much yarn you can really put on and work with clearly. So I'm going to create a slip knot on this side that is not with the needle, and I'm going to start off in the back. So right now I have to create this arrow that you see here, but right here. So what I want to do is that I want to come in from the back side and I want to pop it up, okay, through the front. Okay, so the needle is going to come out through the front and I want to pull it through. Okay, and I want to go down. So it's a matter about planning ahead on where your next stitch should be. So I'm going to come down on an angle. So I'm just going to look at it here. You will notice that basically where they're attached is basically the cross sections. So to come down on an angle like this, I would have to cross over this one here. So I'll go down in like there. And then what I want to do, because I created that slip knot on the back, I want to pull this and I want to put this needle through that slip knot and it will hold it and secure in position just like so. So now I want to pop it up back through the top again, and you don't want to be over tight. If you're over tight, then you lose the effect. So now I got to come up on an angle, so I'm going to come back out the other side of the single crochet like this, and I want to cross over and go down like this. So the trick is that you have to really kind of plan ahead on where you're coming up and down, because you can't come up and down the same hole. So now I have to come up on an angle because I'm going down one more. So what I want to do then is just come up through the next one and then cross over. So when I said I doubled up on the yarn, what I decided to do, let me just finish off this here before I explain that. So I'm just coming across and I just got to go back and forth. Now I think it's easier to do the cross stitching in the little panels like this versus a whole afghan in order to do, but you can see here that you're starting to create the effect. So what I did for doubling up on the yarn is that I created two lengths that actually it's one massive string, and instead of going up like this, so watch what happens. So I'm gonna just pretend I'm gonna double up. Okay, so I'm gonna come up through, and this time I'm leaving both strings up like this. See? And just doubling that is just thickening up the way that it looks. You will use more yarn, but you can see that it's more pronounced when you double up. So what I did on mine then is that I went over I did the pattern, so I did like one section of the petal, and then I went back over it a second time. So it's going to take you twice as long to do it the way that I'm showing you, but you'll end up with a really bold look, and that's basically up to your creativity whether you can handle that or not. It will take you extra time. This is one thing, a project that you're not going to want to be taken lightly on who gets it. See, so you can just see that I just quadrupled the yarn and it has a lot different effect than what it looks right there. And so that's something that's up to you on what you think is good for you, but either way I think it's a winner. So essentially you're going to cross section yourself. So essentially you're going to do cross stitching all the way across and just follow this. This is really easy to maintain the line. Just count your boxes on the actual diagram in order to follow along. And if you do make any mistakes, you're going to have to frog it, but sometimes sometimes a mistake can actually work out in your favor. And in this particular case, there's an arrows on this side and arrows on the other side. So when you're going to attach them together, you've got to make sure that when you are going to sew them together, that these arrows are facing in the right direction, that you don't have one oddball out. So let's review covering the border next. before I finish and let you see the border, how I finish off the back is this: I slide the hook underneath a few stitches like this, and I create a knot to secure it into position, and then what I just do is just slide it, my famous like 3 times back and forth. You could do it twice. It's got the knot, so it's gonna hold, but when you go in, you want to make sure you're not going too deep. You're just going into some fibers just to hold it, and you're just kind of burying it into these. It helps with a sharper darning needle, like you kind of see here, than it does a blunt one, and I definitely use a steel one versus plastic. And once you get that done, you can just safely trim off your edges, and it would just look like that. So therefore it looks like that in the front. So let's start off with your border, and at this point you will have it all complete. It'll be completely assembled, and you will never go down the side of one of these squares just like this. You'll only go along this side here. So essentially what we're going to do at this point is that we're going to join it in here, and we're going to work our way around. So let's just join this yarn, and you're going to go into a corner. So the very first, and then just chain 1, and then you're going to put 3 single crochets into that same spot so that you can effectively turn the corner. So this one is really easy. All you just need to do is chase around the afghan, 1 single crochet into each. Now when you get to the sides, because you have single crocheted, each one is a single crochet on the side, and it's really easy to maintain that as you're going all the way around. So just quickly do that, and when we come back I'll show you how to do the scalloping or the shells on the outside next. Remember also, when you get to the other corner, you will be putting in 3 single crochets in the other corner also to make that a lot of sense. So we're coming up all the way around this. This is just a sample, but if this is yours, you'd be coming up all the way around, and the trick is knowing where to start on the next level as we go to create the scallop edging all the way around. So I've just come up to my last one. The next one has my 3, and all I want to do is just, I want to slip stitch into the beginning 1. So to begin the next level, all I'm just going to do is slip stitch to the second one over, so it's the second one of 3, so I'm directly right into the center. So let's begin to do the next round next. To begin the next section is that we just need to start off with the chaining of 1 and then single crochet into the same stitch. We want to skip only 1 and go to the second over, and we're going to put in 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, followed by a chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then coming into the same stitch for 2 more double crochet. And we want to work our way across using the same kind of idea. So we're going to skip 2 double crochet, or 2 singles, and we're going to single crochet into the third only, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to skip 2 more and then do the same thing. So we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 3, and then 2 double crochet. Okay, so skip 2, single crochet into the next, and then skip 2, and then put in that all the way around. So continue that. I'll show you what to do in the next corner, and I can let you be for the remainder of this project to get it done and have something to celebrate at the end. The goal is when you get to the corner that you want to put in that 1 single crochet right in the very edge. So in this case, because mine is a sample and I don't have the right amount of stitches, I'm going to want to fake it in so that I can make it work. So I'm just going to, instead of going over 2, I just went over 1, and then I'm going to go over only 1 instead of 2, and I'm going to end up with being a little different than what we've been doing across, but I think it's going to blend in just perfectly. So I'm just putting my shell in right here, and then I'm going to single crochet right on the middle one. But I still want to start off the same way, so I'm going to skip over 1 only and basically do it starting again. So chain, or 2 double crochet, chain 3, and 2 double crochet into the same one. So sometimes in the end, sometimes you just gotta fake it. You know, you don't want to pull apart your project because it's not working right at the end. And again, you're gonna skip 2 and then start again with the single crochet, skip 2, and then doing the shell again of the 2 doubles, chain 3, and 2 more doubles into the same one, and work your way all the way around using that same concept. Just judge your corners in the end. See, it doesn't look so bad. So I didn't follow it exactly, but you can see that it still works. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Stay tuned for more free patterns and ideas right here next time. We'll see ya.